Yeah, well, I think we're good to go now. Hello, everyone. So yes, we are back with Among the Embers, and would our medic care to do a little previously on before we get on to our acknowledgements and such?
Previously on Among the Embers. The Nightingale launched from a starbase and went to collect a torpedo. Suddenly, Klingons!
Excellent. All right. All right, V, you want to continue with the setup? I believe we have some announcements and such.
I cannot hear you.
Oh,
super choppy.
yeah, I'll be wrong. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Technical difficulties. Well, while he's figuring that out, we want to thank Star Trek Online for allowing us the use of their game imagery to flavor our for the developing and creating this amazing system that we're using. And thank you to Fury of a Seraph on DeviantArt for creating a dedication plaque template that we used to make the Nightingale's dedication plaque.
Alrighty then. Now, we do appear to be a science officer down, so hopefully he will show up at some point. In the meantime, yes, you had just successfully dropped off your prototype torpedo on a transport for detonation when you came under attack by 3 Klingon Barrel class, 2 of which are gunning for you, and 1 of which is heading for the transport. Now, Commander Bjorn Bong successfully managed to set an evasive action. Successfully managed to get evasive maneuvers going, so you'll be harder to hit. And 1 of the Barrels did fire at you and locked onto you for future attacks, but it missed with its torpedo. Which means we are back to the crew of the Nightingale. But before we kick into that, by request, we now have combat mood music.
Right, bear with me, I'll be right back.
In sickbay, Dr. Chargath waits nervously.
Mood music is always an essential part of any campaign.
It's pretty good. There is some disagreement on how distracting it can be, but I figured there was no harm in at least trying it out.
And if worst comes to worst, one can always adjust the volume.
That we can, so if anyone feels like it's too loud, let me know, please.
Alright, so who's going next?
Well, it was Eric, but he's not here. So
This is correct.
Much
Much
better.
better.
Like a drone.
Assimilation has evidently been successful.
Resistance is not apparently futile. How do I turn the music down?
That's on my end.
but you can turn your own down, and you go to My Settings, and it says Master of Music Volume.
Ah, je trouve là. Yes, thank you, Penelope. There we go.
Alrighty, cool.
Good.
You can hear you.
Sounds good. Alrighty. So, under the circumstances, your science officer has been turned into a support character, which means that he can essentially take minor actions. To do stuff. So in this particular case, the intent was to scan the Klingon ships to try and get some more information on them. Now, if he were fully active, then he'd be able to do under the circumstances. I will just allow a minor action, allow that minor action to be to get a little more information on your attackers for the turn, so someone else can actually take a combat of some kind. Sound good?
Works for me.
All right.
Back.
So yes, according to the ship's sensors, the two birds of prey on an attack are probably like 20-30 years old, and they're not maintained, as can be noted by the fact that one of them is suffering engine troubles. But the other thing which is somewhat interesting is that they don't appear to have pure Klingon crews. There are definitely Klingons on there, but it's not all Klingons.
Pirates!
Make of that what you will. For now, let's see. Commander Bong, you've taken your turn. So, Lieutenant Commander Maz, Lieutenant Commander Vintot, Lieutenant Commanders, and Captain. Who do you want to take? Who do you want? I did give you a link earlier, which gives a nice reference for all the things which you can do. So if anything sounds particularly good at the moment, then speak up.
I'm in sick bay waiting for casualties. So, if I get a turn, I'll give it to somebody else.
You don't actually...
If I've understood this correctly.
Yeah, you can't actually do that, unfortunately.
Oh.
So we'll work out what...
So, no, my original orders were to target weapons, I believe.
That sounds about right.
I know we have the ability to do crazy things with targeting.
The first targeting systems, you do not suffer a penalty for targeting individual systems. This is correct.
All right, and is that with phaser arrays or torpedoes? Like, could it be both, or is it one or the other?
It's both. All targeting.
Alrighty, so what I would like to do is target engines, because at least one of them's already, or at least, we weren't even in range for phasers yet, were we?
You're still at long range. I'm trying to remember. Because I know that you took evasive action. Did you also move closer?
Yes,
Commander
I think
Bong.
Commander Bong did.
Yes, they multi-actioned to get us closer.
Okay. Which means you're at medium range. I believe that your phaser bang range, so you can use both phasers. Confirm that. Medium range.
All right, well, let's target. I would prefer to use the phasers at first. Torpedoes have a habit of causing ships to explode.
They can in fact do that. So, you are the captain, which means there are a couple of things you can do here. You can either order your tactical officer to fire. You can create an advantage which represents a number of things. Probably the easy one is just by virtue of your charisma and presence, just focus everyone on the task at hand. Let's see, commanding officer. Yeah, create advantage, direct once per scene, and rally are your three options. Now you can technically override someone else's station and use stuff from there, but the more times you use the station, the more difficult it is.
Right. So I think I'm going to rally.
Okay.
And I will do so by saying to the bridge crew, I'm not going to do one of those weird put it on all speakers. Let's not get overexcited, people. We don't know who this threat is. I'd prefer to have them questioned than destroyed. I know all of you I know all of you are exceptionally well suited for your tasks. Let's do our best and get this whole situation over with quickly.
All right. So quick question: are you trying to create an advantage, or are you trying to rally? Because if the rally task specifically doesn't do anything, it's basically a momentum generator. It's a difficulty 0 task to which.
Right. Yeah, I'm.
Because I believe. What is your momentum at the moment?
I think it's a 3. I use a lot of
we're at-
momentum.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's what I was going to get a little bit more momentum, a little bit of momentum back, because it's always good to have in the middle of combat.
Sounds good. All right, then go ahead and roll it. Presence plus command.
Presence command, and I would assume I get to use my focus of persuasion.
I think that'd be a little bit of a stretch.
Okay.
Can I pipe Tellarite battle music up into the bridge from sickbay?
All right. It's just a simple presence command roll.
Correct. Cool, that's 2 successes, so that's team momentum. Alrighty. Since burning that to keep the initiative would be a little bit of a zero-sum game, I'm assuming you're going to hand it back to the Klingons.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind.
Alrighty. Well, let's see. Sorry, I just need to check something quickly. Alright, well, the bird of prey which is not suffering engine damage is going to go ahead and swoop into close range. Which, you know, among other things, will allow it to... I'll give this to you for free. That's close enough for it to use its disruptor cannons. So things might start to get painful soon.
I just call that more fun.
Of course you do.
You don't have to knit the casualties back together, you giant lizard.
Alrighty. That would be back with you guys. You have tactical, you have operations, and you have medical left. In terms of what medical can do,
Offer moral support.
no, they've only fired one torpedo at you, which missed.
One could say I'm going to assume the doc's science stats are actually pretty decent. He can fill in for Eric while he's not here.
Thing is, he's in sick bay, so
True. I'm sorry for Lieutenant Commander Rannis while he's not here.
Okay, so there are actually things which you can do from sickbay, which I think just because it makes sense to me, you can't actually do until you start taking damage, but it basically allows you to feed rerolls to ship assists,
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that.
which basically represents keeping injured personnel and such on their feet and working.
Triage.
Exactly. So, I probably suggest you might want to get your weapons going.
Targets, Captain.
Engines primarily. I'll let you choose I'll let you do your job. Fire at will.
So, question. Would I be able to fire at multiple targets, or would it be sort of a one target per attack, so to speak?
Okay. Let me double check something on that. So phaser arrays. Now you have phaser arrays. Phaser banks can do fun things with that. Photon torpedoes. The two birds of prey are a little too far apart. If they were closer together, then you could fire a torpedo spread which would hit both of them.
Okay.
But one of them pulled ahead of the other because engine trouble.
Right. And then the third is still at long range.
The third is at extreme range.
Ah.
It's not even... I'm not even technically accounting for it in the battle lineup, because it can't affect you and vice versa, not unless you actively go for it.
Okay. Nas is going to focus targeting on the closer bird of prey for the moment.
Alrighty. Let me just confirm something quickly. Okay, no, carry on.
Alrighty. So
If you're going to be firing your phasers, then that will be a control plus security check, assisted by weapons plus security. You're using phasers, so that's a difficulty of 2. Now, you're targeting the engines, I believe?
yes, targeting engines.
Okay. Plus 1, what? Hold on.
Which normally that would increase the difficulty by 1 if I'm reading this right, but because of our fast targeting sensors, there
That is
is no
correct.
penalty.
Successful. D. I'm just checking for. Here we go. Weapon types. So you'll need to spend. You need to spend 1 power to fire an energy weapon. You can spend additional power to boost the damage dice. So you can spend up to 2 power to get up to 2 dice and 2 additional damage dice.
I think I would like to do that.
Alrighty. Just fully charge it.
Yep.
Alrighty, that takes you down to 7 power. Probably going to need to get that recharging on your turn, Chief of Operations. In the meantime, go ahead and roll it. You want to spend any momentum?
I will spend a momentum for an extra die, yes.
Alrighty. You do also get your focus.
Shipboard tactical systems, yes please. And that is control security, yeah? And then the ship will be rolling for assistance.
Weapons plus security.
Okie dokie. Let me roll myself first. I'm going to grab the ship's character sheet.
Okay, that's 3 successes. And for the ship.
Weapons, security.
Four successes in total.
Huzzah.
Alrighty. Which means you get to roll 10 damage dice.
Oh, yes. I like that.
Is that not going to make the bird of prey explode when we're trying to take prisoners?
It takes a bit to get stuff to actively blow up, but you probably are going to wreck its shields.
All right, so how do we roll damage?
That would be 10. You scroll down on the character sheet for the Nightingale. You'll see the weapons there. You can go ahead and just hit the button to roll it.
For phaser arrays?
That's correct. Oh boy. And you do get to roll faster. Wow, how did I miss that? Phaser arrays. There's only one S in phasers. Okay, and you do need to roll 2 more somehow.
Can I just edit the damage number? Put it to 2
Sure.
temporarily?
That makes sense.
Wait, what?
That wasn't 2. Not sure
That
what
is not... What?
Yeah. Oh. We could say we just take the first, like we always do, just take the first things that pop up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm very confused. Okay, so That's actually kind of horrifying. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. And you gained a total of 4 momentum. 2 from the roll and 2 from the phasers.
Which
Jesus.
puts us all the way back to full again.
There are also things which you can do with momentum as an immediate spend as part of an attack. So you can spend it to get additional damage. You can spend it to ignore resistance. Let's see. This would be
Wait, there's actually a resistance that's futile ability?
essentially, yes. Penetration. Okay, you can reroll damage. I don't think you. That's
think
pretty
I'm
good.
I think I'm good
Yeah.
with what we rolled. Yeah.
Like, there's only 1 dice which didn't actually do anything.
How much over do we have?
2, I think.
2, yeah.
How much over what?
Over momentum. Yeah.
You just gained 4, and before that you had 5, so 3.
I spent 1 to.
That's correct, actually. So yes, you've got 2
Yeah.
over.
Can I spend both to overcome resistances?
Ignore amount of target resistance equals 2 for each momentum spent. So that would take its resistance down to 0, in fact, if you did that.
I'm okay with this.
Alrighty.
Bye bye, birdie.
So, let me just double check how many shields it has. Okay, well, you blew out its shields. Which means, in total, you've inflicted 3 breaches on the bird of prey. Which means engine damage. So ship loses 2 power immediately. Equal or greater. Okay. The phaser blasts. So as you target the bird of prey as it swings in to try and bring its disruptors to bear, the phaser fire just burns clean through the ship's shields and bores into the engines as it tries to bank around. And you can immediately tell, based on the fairly significant explosion there, that it's not going anywhere. The engines have been knocked out, and it's yeah, it's not going anywhere. It can probably limp, and it might be able to get its systems back online, but for the moment, yeah.
Successful hit on target, Captain.
Good, good.
Alrighty. Okay.
Captain, if I may make a suggestion.
Please do.
Send the detonate code to the warhead now, before that other target can make away with our test bed.
Excellent line of thinking, Lieutenant Commander.
Alrighty. You going to spend momentum to keep the initiative, then?
Yeah, sure. We just earned a whole mess ton, so.
Alrighty then. Engineering or medical? Or indeed, let me see. This would be a communications check to try and make the thing happen. Which would technically be through NASA's console, I think. Since it's fairly usual for tactical officers to be the communications people in this day and age.
Do we want the power management running? Because that would be engineering.
That would in fact be engineering. I mean, you've burned a fair amount of power there, but at the same time, that bird of prey is considerably less of a danger at the moment.
Apparently, Varzak is trying to get attention and having mic trouble.
Oh dear. There you
There
are.
we go.
Greetings.
It's extreme range. You need to be at close range at the most for the torpedo detonation to be a threat. Yeah, no, the only ship which it might damage is the third bird of prey, which is ignoring you.
I figured
Nas
as much.
Yeah, Nas is perfectly okay with possibly accidentally blowing up one bird of prey that attacked a Federation starship in Federation territory. I think they got what is coming to them.
Yes, well.
I mean, accidents happen.
It's disabled for now, but is Dr. Jabron still on? He's on the bridge, right?
He is on the bridge.
And he did not react to Naz's suggestion of exploding the torpedo.
No, he didn't actually.
I mean, we are working for Kill 'Em All Janeway, so I mean,
All right, folks, let's keep it moving. You're under attack. Who's doing what?
I'm still sat in sick bay, ready to save many lives. Yes.
yeah, let's detonate that torpedo.
I was about to scan the birds of prey.
You did
You're,
it very well.
Yeah, we're a little on from that, Eric. You managed to ascertain that the birds of prey are older models, not terribly well maintained, and the crews are not entirely Klingon.
What was a cracking job?
We
That's
rolled for you while you were gone.
So people with actions left would be medical and ops then, yeah?
That's correct.
Yep.
You'd be looking at regenerating the ship's power, would probably be your big one, unless you wanted to detonate the torpedo.
So we haven't been hit yet, so I've got no casualties, which is fantastic. So I'm going to use my go to make more Tellarite coffee.
Detonate the torpedo.
Alrighty. That will be a control plus engineering check with a difficulty of, let's see, I'll give this to you for free. The Borels are kicking out a fair amount of jamming. So it'll be a little difficult to get your signal through. So this would normally be a difficulty 0 under the circumstances. This can be difficulty 2.
Since we have a ton of it, I would burn the momentum to actually pick up an extra die, too.
We have the momentum.
If you're burning momentum for an extra dice, then yes, that would be 3 dice. And you'll be supported by the ship using communications plus engineering.
That's okay by me.
Yep. It's there to use.
Be momentous.
Okay, that's 2 successes. And the ship.
Sorry, just so I'm caught up. We've successfully signaled the enemy. No, wait. Our torpedo to blow up, yes?
Still need to roll for the ship.
Oh my gosh.
Engineering plus communication.
I can if you want, but you are perfectly able to as well.
Oh, I get it. He's typed in the console, that's one check, and the ship's got to send the signal, that's the other check.
Yep.
Ah, I got it! Oh, wonderful. Oh, well done, me.
Basically, the ship always assists you on shipboard rolls, just to represent the efficiency and capabilities of the systems you're using.
Oh, fantastic. I hope we played this game for months.
Do you want me to roll? Okie doke. And an extra success from the ship.
Cool, that gets you your momentum back. Well, the signal definitely goes through. You're pretty damn sure that you broke through the Klingon jamming. And you do, in fact, get a response code from the torpedo, which indicates that it received the signal. Only it doesn't do anything.
No! I blame Jabbering.
Which means... Well, it could mean a number of things, but bottom line is that torpedo did not detonate when it was supposed to.
He's broke through the jamming, and What's-His-Face is keeping his mouth shut. What's-His-Face is guilty in some fashion. Jabbing.
Well, it is a prototype.
It's perfectly true.
Where's the kaboom?
I understood that reference.
Your prototype appears to need work, Doctor.
I
Sorry,
don't know
I just
what
imagine
happened.
Gavin hiding in the corner of the bridge. Please don't eat me, tactical officer.
Clearly, there's some kind of problem at hand here. Clearly we must ensure that the
Oz basically turns her head and gives the doctor the
Death stare.
just an unblinking gaze for a good 5 seconds before turning back to her terminal. GM, you alright over there?
Do I need to come to the bridge? Has the doctor collapsed?
Not yet, Doctor.
Yet.
I think we may have lost our
We may
GM.
have lost Lazu. Yeah.
That would be irritating.
Lizard stare Lazu, that'll get her back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize. We are having technical difficulties at this time.
All right, I'm tipping away for just a second then.
I did not know we were starting this early. I thought we were still starting at 10.
Nah, daylight savings kicked in the UK, so their time has changed.
There she goes. I'm sure she'll be back as soon as she can.
Yeah, I think there may have been a power or net blip on that end. If I had to hazard a guess.
I will Google Bath now.
So yeah, Eric, for the future, we'll be starting an hour past, not previous, but past. If that makes any sense. I haven't had coffee yet. I apologize.
What's the date today?
So we're starting an hour earlier than usual.
Then our first time, yeah. And that's going to become the new normal.
Gotcha.
We need to start doing some sort of animation for Deccan so that he can just have like a his own Gorn cartoon.
I know a few artist people. I could probably get some fun images. This isn't a budget, that's all. Good art takes money.
What's the Gorn's name? I can't remember the name. Hang on, characters. That's what I click on, isn't it? There we go. Naj.
Yes.
You know, that we will definitely use for free, but a lot. Yes. Free advertising. Hey. Especially the children's stories.
All right, Lazarus seems to be back. He says that there's internet issues.
Naj goes to breakfast. Naj takes the kids to school.
Nas fixes the schoolyard bully with a death eye stare.
My apologies for that. I'm back. My water pill is in full effect this morning, so I will likely disappear again.
Your water cooler.
Water pill. I have kidney damage, so
Oh yes, I
Oh.
remember. Yes, yes. I need scissors. It's very frustrating to get into a nicotine patch. It's harder to open than a packet of cigarettes, which I think is a design flaw. Quite seriously.
I was gonna say that does sound like a little counterproductive there.
It won't open.
has Lazo come back?
He's still trying to work out his internet issues.
All right.
I genuinely can't get it open. I'm going to tear this thing apart.
Did you get it?
When we're done here, I'm going on the nicotine feedback page, or nicotine. Who are these people? Nicotinell feedback page. It is easier to open a packet of cigarettes than your flipping patches.
I mean, I understand you don't want, random people just opening up your packages, particularly young children, but at the same time...
I keep them in a cupboard above their heads. I'm a grown-up. I'd like to use the Nicotinell so that I don't go out and buy the cigarettes. I have willpower. It just needs a multiplier.
Everyone needs a little help.
Thank you. And I'm nearly at 2 weeks.
To be fair, when I was but a wee spawn, I was able to get into top shelves too. I climbed.
That's a fair point. My youngest can climb. Where is he? Oh, he's asleep. Good.
So we already know a good number of who's going to be cast for Star Trek Online and the next expansion. And they have the silhouettes. But do we want to speculate at who those silhouettes are?
I can't rightly make them out clear enough to know who's who.
I know he said he'd never do it again, but I'm really hoping Avery Brooks pops up at the end.
So they have access to anything
make
recorded
my
for the
day.
show. We know we have access to anything that he recorded for the show, because STO has access to all audio from the show.
That's true. Yes, yeah. But I'd like him. I want him to come out the wormhole. Be like, "Hey guys, I've been missing for 30 years."
That would be cool, but it's I would not be surprised if he doesn't show up.
Unfortunately,
I believe his stance on Star Trek is, while he doesn't regret it, he doesn't want to really be a part of it anymore.
it wasn't a high point. He had to be convinced to do the convention section, didn't he? Yeah. You'll be able to put an extension on your house.
I know one of the names that's being thrown around a lot is Esri Dax, because she's already mentioned in STO missions and stuff.
Oh, Nicole
Nicole DeBoer.
DeBoer. Didn't she do Law and Order for a bit?
Because I know she was mentioned in the 2800 features series when they tried to contact the founders about the Dominion fleet suddenly reappearing.
You don't suppose Jake will be making a return, do you?
Ooh.
That's a possibility.
Um,
I'm quite curious to what his role would be if he does.
Journalist.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, besides journalist,
he wrote all of the path to 2409.
2409. Yes, I've got the needs of the few. No, the other lot. Some. People. Many. There we go. In the book. I read the book. He's in the book. Yes. Jake Sisko would be good. Yes. I got the patch on, so the nicotine's taking effect.
We may actually get ROM too.
yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah.
If Nog doesn't at least make mention, I will be very disappointed.
Well, Chase Masterson be part of it at all.
Oh, I hope so. She's a very nice girl. She seems intelligent. I like her.
It looks, just looking at the expansion page, one of the silhouettes there, I think, didn't quite get the full transparency they were looking for. I'm pretty sure that's a Cardassian outfit. I'm just not sure if that's going to be Garrick or Ducat.
Well, Ducat is dead.
Very, yes, incinerated, isn't he?
Fair enough.
Garrick is
Okay.
confirmed. Somebody mentioned this the other day, yes.
Like, if they bring Ducat's ass back. Sorry, Ducat back. I'm gonna be like, what?
Yeah, then he has to appear to kill him again.
Yeah, but like I said, yeah.
Somebody told me the other day Bashir's coming back as well.
Bashir is confirmed.
Brilliant.
Julian Bashir.
All right, so we got okay, so we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 silhouettes remaining on the official page.
What about
2 are
Nana
covered by
Visitor?
Bashir. 2 are covered by
Kira,
Bashir
yes.
and Garrick.
Nana's confirmed.
Yeah.
Kira is confirmed. There you go.
Because Kira is Kai right now, right?
Yep.
She's the boss. Who does that leave? So Bashir.
Nice.
Oh, with the flippity hat. Yeah.
Like, what's the costume exactly? Like, what they put on STO, or is it like what Kai Wynn wore?
Ooh.
We're losing
Fine.
you,
I think-
G.
Yeah, I
And
think
he's
your
being
voice is
assimilated
like-
again. Just as he tells us something cool.
They're onto him.
Yep. CBS are in his house right now.
Another suggestion was Cassidy Yates.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh, she's
I like
in that other
I
one,
like-
isn't she?
I like Penny Johnson.
That's her name. Penny Gerald Johnson. She's in that's it, TNG version 2. That one.
Pretty much.
It is a really good program. I know we're not supposed to like it because we're all trackers and da 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 da, but it's really good.
There's a picture of what Kira looks like.
Huh.
So definitely more of the Kai Wynn, or not Kai Wynn. Fucking
Kaiopaka.
Kaiopaka, yes.
yes.
I'm back.
Yay!
Ugh.
Talk
I have no
has
idea
been
what that was.
defeated.
Internet service providers are pains.
Yeah, well.
I can't find the.
What about Cole Meany? Is he confirmed?
No.
Nope.
Bollocks.
Isn't he retired? No. No.
All right.
Can I go to the loo?
I told you
Please.
guys to go on a break just now.
I didn't need it then.
Oh my god, Red. Oh my god.
Well, to be fair,
well-
Barzak, you kind of started it.
I'll run. I'll run.
You're all
I'll run.
hopeless. Alright. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let me get something to eat.
I assumed that that we were taking our break when we were talking about Star Trek Online.
So did I, but apparently...
I did not get the memo.
Alright, guys. 10 minutes. All right. Let's get our combat music going again. Lovely. So, my internet seems to be functioning again. It doesn't often do this. It's only done it once before, and it only lasted for like those couple of minutes. So, hopefully, should be no further problems. But while Discord was failing to work, I did manage to extract a few dice rolls out of Roll20. So, the bird of prey, which you basically blew the engine core off of, manages to
I'm
limp
still proud
around
about that.
to focus its weapons on you. And you notice that it's specifically targeting your engines, Naz, right before it opens up with its disruptor cannons. And very clearly, it's giving you everything it's got. Like, it doesn't care that its reserves are draining fast as a result of its main power core getting blown out. It just threw everything at you. And the
Brace for impact.
The Nightingale rocks as disruptor blasts burn into the shields.
Question: when I scanned the birds of prey, was I able to get life sign readings?
You were. There's a lot of Klingons on board these ships, but they're not all Klingons. There's a mixture of races aboard.
Gotcha.
I believe you're at... I'm not actually sure how much you're at. Yeah, I think five momentum sounds about right.
All right, just want to check for bookkeeping purposes. Thank you.
Yep. So, in total, you take 11 damage.
Oof.
Yeah, disruptors hurt, and they rolled a lot of effects.
Really glad sickbay's right in the middle of the ship behind all the armor.
So, here is how damage works in this game. First of all, you remove a number of shields equal to the damage you just took, which means you're down to 2 shields at the moment.
Oh!
Ouch.
Fudge.
It hurt.
Where do I
Actually,
see
right
that
now,
on the doodad?
Hold on. I miscalculated that. Because you've got resistance from the size of the ship.
Ah.
Oh.
So let me just double check something. Close range, vicious. Okay, so I was incorrect actually. That's only 6 damage, but that's still enough to. It's not quite half of your shields, but it still hurts.
Less of an ouch.
And the way that damage works in this game, if you take 5 or more damage, doesn't matter if you have shields up or not, some of it burns through.
Oh.
Which means you take a engine breach.
Good. Not sickbay then.
Nope. So, whenever the engines suffer 1 or more breaches, it disrupts those functions temporarily. Ship loses 2 power immediately, so you're down to 3. Further, until the internal systems officer or someone in engineering performs the restore minor action, all tasks assisted by the ship's engines, or which have a power requirement, increase in both difficulty and complication range by 1.
Oh. Fudge. We're going to have to be clever now, aren't we?
So,
Nice work, lizard boy.
that's going to take a little... You're going to be limping a little bit until your engineering officer gets around to that.
These brigands, they may be in old rust buckets, but they know how to make those rust buckets bite.
Tetanus. I have to do tetanus shots.
All right.
That was IC in character, by the way.
So, Doctor, you're up.
Yes. Great. I treat the casualties. Ah,
Yes, you do.
well done, me. How many?
You took damage just in time to be able to help with that. So as casualty reports start streaming in from
Terrible. There are casualties.
engineering, you immediately get down to work. So that would be a daring plus medicine check,
Daring and medicine. Oh, this is excellent. Hang on.
which is with a difficulty of 2.
Right. So, hang on. Wait for it.
And Naz, if you want to assist with computers plus medicine.
Daring.
For the
8. Medicine 5. Difficulty was 2,
That's correct.
which means what do I do? Hang on.
difficulty 2 doesn't mean you have to change anything.
Oh.
You
Okay,
just
good.
it's just you have to generate at least 2 successes.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. Do I use a focus? Emergency medicine. Can I use my focus?
That would qualify. Yep,
Say again.
that would qualify.
Excellent. I use emergency medicine because it's an emergency.
Alrighty.
Seems fitting.
Yes. Good. Complication range.
Complication range is 1.
1. And task roll. I'm doing 1 task.
That would be it's task roll. It's the number of dice you're rolling, so it's 2 by
2.
default.
By default. Thank you. Well done,
Unless
me.
you want to
I
spend
would recommend spending a momentum to bump that to 3, because we have the momentum to spare.
Lizard medicine, is it? All right. Yes, I will use a momentum. This is so much fun. Okay. Do I leave challenge dice at 2 and then hit the button?
challenge dice are a separate thing. So just hit the button
Ignore
next to
that.
task.
Hit the button next to task roll. 3. Complication range 1. Focus used. Yes. Daring 8. Medicine 5. Go. How many lives did I save?
None.
Oh,
Ooh.
Ouch!
They're
Ooh.
all dead.
oh,
Oh, they're all super dead. Oh dear.
Well, the
resign.
good news is there's no
Medical
actual
officer.
penalty for that.
You had one job, Doctor!
Sussed, I know. Everybody else did such a good job. My first thing, and everybody hurt staying in sick bay for a week.
What do you
I'm
expect
terribly
from me?
sorry,
I'm a
Captain.
bricklayer, not a doctor.
So,
I told you
Clearly-
not to let kill 'em all. Janeway put a torpedo launcher up there. We needed extra hospital space.
so basically what happened was the plasma burnout in engineering caused a lot of casualties. And although you able to get people under control and triaged,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to go back to work.
Oh, well, I
because-
wasn't going to do that. No, they all need a day off. Oh, this was deliberate. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Captain, this is a sick bay. We got into engineering. We got the casualties out heroically, if I do say so myself. But they're going to need to stay with me for a while. Yep. Checks nails.
All right.
Very well, Doctor.
Initiate triage protocols.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Science Officer. We're already doing that. We didn't make any mistakes. Yes, we will, Captain. It is very well.
All right.
Yes, please.
Also, if everybody could sign these risk assessment forms, abdicating all responsibility of sick bay for injuries sustained in the line of duty, just quickly while you've got a second. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
AFK, I got Cass wanting outside.
Dr. Chargath hurriedly treats all casualties in sick bay. Thank you.
Okay, so the good news about being in main engineering, Vintot, is you get all of the usual tasks which you could perform from the bridge, but the difficulty goes down because you're in the heart of things. So that'll probably be useful next turn.
Is that because he's the chief engineer anyway? So he's come away from the bridge and gone. So no, you're the ops officer, aren't you?
All right, I'm
He's the
back.
ops officer.
Oh right, but because he's right
he can't-
in engineering, it's like Harry running down and helping Balana out. It's that kind of
that sort of thing, yeah.
Oh,
But I mean,
brilliant.
he dual roles as both chief of operations and chief engineer on the Nightingale anyway.
I get you. Okay, thank you.
All right, so all 6 of you have now had your turn. But because you kept the round a couple of times, the birds of prey still have a couple of turns between them.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh boy.
first up, the first brawl with the engine damage.
The one that just did all the damage to us.
No, this is the other one.
The other one. Right. One to the third one. Did that one explode?
Third one is nowhere near you, and I will tell you what it's doing in a moment.
Ah, suspense.
Okay. Dee. Okay, so... Alright. Sorry, just checking things. Eh. Okay, guys, I love you, but... actually, no, there's a thing I can do to stop this from happening. All the Discord notifications keep running over my chat box, so it's really
sorry.
hard.
My bad.
Stopping typing.
It's fine. I set it to don't disturb, so it'll no longer cover the chat box. Okay, so... Okay. So, the first bird of prey seems to have got its engines back online.
Aha.
So that'll be...
Resourceful
All good for
brigands.
which also gets me a threat back. And the one up close and personal is going to try and... What even can it do with the disabled engines? I need to check just how...
Hopefully die
messed up it
slowly
actually
and
is.
painfully after doing what it just did. Suffer radiation damage slowly. There you go.
Leaking plasma.
Oh yeah, it's leaking plasma. They probably had to shut down the warp core. It's all kinds of bad stuff.
Have they sent an apology note yet?
No, they're being very rude actually.
I think their disruptors are the apology note.
Better grammar needed.
Okay.
Can't believe that went so wrong.
Yeah, that was kind of amazing. I mean,
You should not have
What
been
the
drinking
best
coffee
time?
all the livelong day, Doctor.
okay.
To Tellarites blush.
All right. So we are going to need to get creative.
Gosh, yes. Half the crew's in sick bay. Well, the engineering crew. Sorry, Var. It's all up to you now, Mr. Vintot.
That's what happens when you take high-powered disruptor fire straight to the engine nacelle.
So what, did it feed back into main engineering or something? It was one heck of a shot.
All right, so the bird of prey which you blew the engines out of, the main thing about that is a lot of its engines are still intact. It's just that the systems to feed power to them are more or less gone at this point.
Engine's
But-
operational, but the flow systems are kaput.
Pretty much. But it's apparently not completely disabled. Because some miracle worker on there managed to patch things up just enough to get it to start limping away.
Very resourceful brigands.
So that has gone back to medium range. And it is now at 0 power. Now the third Burrell, which appears to be kicking out all of that jamming field which you had to fight through before, has moved to fairly close range for the transport.
Uh-oh.
And as you watch, there's a distinctive energy flare, and then the transport vanishes.
What?
They just blew it up.
Oh! With our torpedo on it.
So it would seem.
Well, better than them taking it.
I'm fine with this because it means we don't have to worry about there being an unexploded ordnance sitting somewhere.
Unless they stole it.
I mean, then it's in their ship, and that's not our problem anymore.
Well,
Send the
technically,
it is
torpedo
our
over
problem
again, just
because-
in
yeah,
case.
yeah, it is our
Yeah.
problem because we were the ones that provided the means for them to take it.
Primary directive is keep the tests secure and keep the test safe and secret. Letting unknown renegades steal a prototype quantum torpedo probably doesn't fit into that.
We clearly
Even
have
if it
to
didn't
kill-
work.
We can
Especially
deal-
if it didn't work.
we can deal with that later, but it means we don't have to worry about exploded ordnance in the middle of a fight.
It's true enough.
Unless we somehow managed to detonate it in the bird of prey.
We did try to test it. It didn't work. That's obviously Jib Brown's fault because he's keeping his mouth shut. So now we just kill all the interlopers. Nobody knows about the test. Super.
Oh yeah, I think did you miss that, Eric? They did try to blow up the torpedo and it didn't do it.
Oh yeah, I caught that.
Alright, so we are back to the top of the order. And the Klingons went last, so Nightingale, you're up.
Could I use a turn to help our shields?
That would be tactical.
Oh.
Technically you can override that to... Actually, would it be tactical? Let me just double check.
Shields is engineering, I believe.
Shields.
Modulate
system.
shields
Yes, regenerate
is also
shields.
under tactical, yeah.
Yeah, but regenerate shields is under internal systems, which is Vintot's.
Yeah.
As is damage control and power management, and you're probably going to be wanting to do a number of those. So you can fire on stuff. You can do all kinds of things. Yep. You have one bird of prey which is apparently trying to withdraw. You've got one which is lined up for a perfect attack run, which could do some serious harm to you.
Half the engineering.
And then you've got
crew in
one
sick bay.
which is off in the distance, and you don't actually know what it's going to do. It might suddenly decide to turn around and join the battle as well. Your shields have taken a beating. You are severely low on power. You're not in the best of shape. but you're a long way from losing this.
I would say we can't really do anything without power, so that's our first priority. And then after that, I don't want that third bird of prey to leave.
All right. Well, that
Sensible
case,
captaining. Yeah.
you have a few options there. You could go for a micro warp jump to try and close the gap with that third bird of prey. I'd probably suggest either that or getting you, telling your engineer to restore some power. Your engines are fine. You've lost some power, and the difficulty of anything involving the engines, which will include the warp jump, has gone up slightly. Let's see, a micro warp jump is normally a difficulty 0 check. Currently, it'll be difficulty 1.
But as we all signed, this is not sickbay's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give them power.
Alrighty. So the exact way this works is a daring or control plus engineering task with a
Good
difficulty of 2. A success gets you 1 point of power. You get 1 more for each momentum spent. Yes, you've got your
Well then, Va!
you've got a talent for that, don't you? Let me just double check the exact wording on that.
I got a talent for typing.
When you succeed at a task using a computer console, yeah, I'll allow that.
It would make sense to be at a console, as I see it.
Yep. So Vintot has a talent which basically says when you succeed at a task using a computer console, you gain 1 bonus momentum, which cannot be saved into the group pool. That's an extra momentum which you gain if you succeed on top of the normal.
So it was the wording of that he'd have to then use it immediately. You said it can't be saved.
Yeah, there's some kinds of momentum which you can't save. This is one of them.
Oh.
But you probably won't be wanting to spend it on getting more power back anyway, so you really lose nothing from this.
We need more power.
It's passive. You always get it. So yes, daring or control plus engineering. You do not. Okay. You do not get the assistance of the ship for this roll.
Because we broke it.
No, you just... Yep. Unless you spend momentum on it. Alrighty. Yeah.
Four.
I don't see why not using an extra. This isn't gonna break the bank, so
Yeah.
to speak.
No, I think you've got it.
I'm crossing my piggy fingers for you. Oh no!
All right, so
What is this?
bad.
The
It's
nightingale
bad as
explodes,
best is.
and the
All right, so This task is one which can succeed at a cost, which means that even if you fail, you can choose to declare a success anyway, but it will cost you a complication.
Take the complication.
Double down, Var.
Alrighty. Let me just double check something quickly.
I know.
Yeah,
I need to know what the
yeah,
heck
wow.
is fitted into these birds of prey.
Clearly, clearly that hit to engineering messed some things up. Okay, success at a cost.
I am superlatively excited.
All right, so yeah, that gets you 1 power back. You cannot spend momentum to get more, unfortunately. You just get the 1.
So our power's at 4.
Your power's at 4, and you get a complication of let's see, what would be suitable?
You're grinning, Lazio. I can hear it.
Maybe. Okay, so you managed to coax some more power back into the systems, but that's messed with
fingers are now
the EPS
melted.
conduit. So
Doctor, stop crossing your fingers. You started this mess.
future attempts to regenerate power will be more difficult until you can repair them. So that was fun. Would you like to keep the initiative?
No, abandon ship.
Yes, I think we do want to keep the initiative.
That'll be 2 momentum, please.
Oh God, we've got like what 1 left now?
No, we've got 2.
Did we just use 1?
No, he did not.
He did not.
Oh, good.
Yeah, if you'd failed to get anything with 3 dice, with a task roll of 16, then I would tell Kane to stop spreading his luck to people.
It's not my fault.
You did really well with your attack roll, and clearly you leached all of the luck out of medical and engineering.
Apparently.
Tactical.
Yeah, let's fire on that other bird of prey that's moving in on us.
All right, Naz, you want to do that?
Oh boy, sure.
With your luck, lizard boy.
I'm gonna.
What, curl the ball and swat it with your tail?
So you can use your phasers, but you're a little low on power at the moment. You can
Yeah, I think
potentially use your
we're gonna
torpedoes.
fire torpedoes. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Are they both at the same range or no?
They're at the same range.
Good.
I will double check to see if you can get a torpedo spread on both of them.
Do we have any tricobots?
Nah,
Yep.
it's all photons.
You only have photons.
High
You're
yield
complaining
them.
about even having quantums before.
I wasn't complaining. I was asking.
Be right back.
Alrighty.
Go high yield. Punch him in the face. Explode him, and let's move on. With
Okay,
your luck,
so-
you'll take out half the sector.
Wait, I can look on here.
If that were to happen, I would ask if these photons were equipped with omega molecules.
Okay, so no. Torpedo spread still only hits just the one thing, but you get extra damage, and it affects more than one system.
Ah.
But it costs you 1 threat to fire torpedoes, and it costs you 3 to fire a torpedo spread.
I think we'll just fire a torpedo.
One
There's only so
single
much I'm willing to
torpedo.
push. Yep.
Alrighty.
Targeting weapons systems, specifically their disruptors.
All weapons are treated as the same by the game.
Okay. Then, targeting weapon systems.
Alrighty, I immediately gain 1 threat. Thank you kindly. Which means I'm back up to 8. Alright, so firing torpedoes is a difficulty of 3.
Okay. I'm going to spend a momentum.
That sounds wise.
Now we're down to 1.
Now we are down to 1.
Ah, well done.
Do I get focus for shipboard tactical systems?
Yes, you do.
Sweet.
I'm gonna need it.
All right, back.
That's good.
That
Nas
is
is about to get us all killed.
No, I'm not. What are you talking about?
That's control plus security, and someone roll weapons plus security to assist him.
I got it.
Nice, that's 4
That's a good
successes.
result, isn't it? Yes. Oh, good. Well done, Nas. Would you like to come and work in sick base?
And a complication.
Oh!
Oh boy.
Just
Well, it was a
when
nice first journey.
So well.
Well,
That's not my fault.
You can have a momentum back.
Thanks.
Your
Like,
torpedo
what
hit,
is going on here?
and roll your damage.
Okay.
Have exploded now or something.
Should I? Oh, that's security plus weapon damage. That's fine. Do I add any damage to the torpedoes from that success?
No. If you want to add damage, then we do that after the dice roll.
Okay.
Momentum
I
spends
will
after
just-
the dice roll.
I will just leave it as it is. Done. +1 breach if any are inflicted upon
So that
the
is
Klingon weapon
4,
systems.
5, 6, 7. Which is-
7 damage, is it? Sorry.
7 damage. Now, it has a scale of 3, which is a resistance of 3. So that's going to bring it down to 4 damage. So you can either spend momentum to get extra damage, or you can spend one. You can spend just a rate of 1 momentum per damage. You can spend 1, that'll get you up to 5, which is a breach. Or you can spend 2 to ignore some resists.
Okay, question. For the group at large, do we want to spend the last momentum to get 2 breaches on their weapon systems? Or do we want to leave it as is?
You only
It's
need
not
one.
the prey that's about to kill us all.
You only need 1 momentum to get 2 breaches.
We only have
We
one
only
left.
have one left.
So,
But you. Okay, you were at 2. You spent 1, right? For the
I
dice
spent
roll.
1 to roll an extra die, yes.
Yeah, you got 4 successes. The difficulty was 3, so you got 1 back,
Ah!
Okay, fair enough.
which you can immediately spend if you wish.
Does that sound like a good idea? Do spend 1 momentum to bump the damage up to 5 so we get 2 breaches?
I vote that we do whatever makes that bird of prey explode.
Given how much hell they give, sorry. Given how
Yes.
much damage they gave us, breach them.
We're in
So as
a
it
great
currently
deal of
stands, 4 damage will just drain out shields and do nothing else.
Yeah, do the extra one.
Alright, spending 1 momentum to make that 5 damage to do even more.
Alrighty.
This isn't gonna work, is it? Oh gosh.
So let's see. That'll be 2 breaches on the bird of prey's weapons.
Good. I think.
Naza is
Alright.
making this kind of odd growling noise as she's targeting and firing the torpedo.
Grumpy Gorn. Grumpy Gorn.
Pharrell makes a baby step away from Nas.
That's it.
Alrighty.
Stop ramping up the tension. What happened?
Okay.
Okay, so their weapons have been
Yes.
really...
You're doing
Okay,
this
so-
deliberately.
the bird of prey, the torpedo smacks into the bird of prey's main body, and the disruptor cannons lose power.
Oh, thank fudge. Well done, Nars. Good shot. Woo!
It looks like they won't have too much difficulty in restoring them, but they're going to be doing a lot less damage until they can. They're considerably less of a threat for now.
Woo. Well, that's good news, isn't it? Next disaster.
Alrighty.
I'm still in sickbay repairing all these people, so I comment not at all.
Right, that is over to the Klingons now.
Oh gosh. So it turns out they've got a proto-matter warhead or something, and we're all doomed.
Well, don't jinx it!
Okay. Well, the Burrell, which you just messed up, is going to try and conduct some repairs.
But that's its action! Haha!
Okay.
I vote we send the lizard boy over to the other ship on his own with a sword and an angry attitude.
2, 3, 4.
I'm the one with the axe.
10
I
can
get-
go with him.
I get another threat. And the bird of prey,
The space Viking can go with him.
Naz, you detect that the energy systems channeling to their disruptors seem to have come back online.
What?
It wouldn't be difficult to. It's clearly a bodge job. It wouldn't be that difficult to knock them out, more or less permanently. But for now, it's ready to do some damage.
Oh, sugar lumps. Oh, good.
It can't do it on this turn because that was its. It did something with engineering.
Because they use this turn repairing those disruptors.
Mm-hmm.
So what have we got left? Engineering, medical, and ops, I think. Or captain.
So
I haven't done anything yet either.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Not you.
And
Alright.
First officer. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to keep the initiative.
Oh, fudge it.
Spend a couple of threat on that. And the Burrell is going to go ahead and fire its weapons.
Gosh darn it.
Yes, that's what I said.
Um,
Gosh, fudge it.
Frick.
Nothing ruder.
well, look, I'm trying to make life a little interesting for you, because
A little?
just a little. You know,
I don't know. I think our doctor flubbing his first roll was interesting enough.
We are not actually that bad off mechanically. We have the one injury, but we have a ton more that can get hurt.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Still.
The ship's taken a little damage, but you're still winning this fight pretty handily.
Yep.
It's much more exciting.
Yeah.
This is actually a lot more exciting and fun than a battle in STO, or even on Bridge Crew. And Bridge Crew's a lot of fun.
Alrighty. So you still have evasive maneuvers going, which is good for you. These guys have an attack pattern, which I believe, yeah, that cancels out. So when it fires a torpedo spread at you, this is going to be with a difficulty of 3.
Oh boy.
Okay, yep, that hits. Apparently you annoyed them.
Well, they annoyed me first, so.
They started it.
I mean, sure, that's fair. $86. All right. So these are photon torpedoes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will spend a threat on that because that was awful. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So torpedo spread. All right. So in total, despite the barrage of torpedoes which smash into you, you only take the shields absorb most of it, and you only take 2 damage.
Does that add to any of our shipboard issues?
Nope, not enough to breach.
Shields down to 40%.
Right, this is sick bay. I'm trying to save some people here. If you could stop the rocking and the rolling.
We're doing our best, Doctor.
So I will give you a little behind the scenes stuff there, just because it's interesting from a gameplay perspective, and should give you a bit of guidance for how things work. That was a torpedo spread, which was actually relatively costly for me to do because I had to spend threat on that. So I spent some on getting extra dice, all of that sort of thing. And in the end, it wasn't all that effective. It would have been far more effective to go with the disruptors. So this really, in a very subtle way, this system does encourage you to use energy weapons or the like to break through shields first before you start raining torpedoes on people.
Does make sense.
Fair enough.
Like, you had a bit of an easier time firing your torpedoes because these are birds of prey. These are small, these can take a lot less damage.
And they're outdated birds of prey.
Yeah. Your resistance of 5 just ate it all up. So, that will be over to your turn.
So what does create advantage do?
Great advantage. Advantages in this game, for the most part, basically have the effect of decreasing the difficulty of something by 1.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you're looking at the EXO create advantage thing.
Yes.
So basically, I'll just read the thing quickly just to make sure I'm not making things up. But
We're actually winning then.
yeah, no.
Well, we're in the bigger, more less outdated ship.
You're in the bigger ship. You're fighting outdated and relatively poorly crewed ships, although apparently their engineers are good.
Can I raise one concern? This is our first battle. Half the engineering crew are in sick bay. Commander Vintot stood in front of an EPS conduit that is probably, given our luck, going to go off in his face. And yes, as the GM just said, the engineering teams on these birds of prey are very, very good. This is our
Not
first
for
fight.
long.
Okay.
They're good.
Okay.
They're good, but
So-
we're better.
So creative advantage will lower the difficulty by 1, and I have a focus of composure.
Yep.
We could all use a little of that right now. Yes, good.
Can I do the creative advantage using my composure focus on Vintot to work on getting
Oh, that's clever. Yeah.
to work on getting the shields stronger?
I think you might be better off using direct for that, which would be basically you give your action to Vintot to do that, and you assist him using your command skill. Now note that you and the captain can each only use that once per scene, but I think that would probably be closer to what you're after.
Sure, that works. So it's command and what?
It just says command there, which is weird. I'm not sure what that's about. I think it'll probably be command and whatever whatever thing seems appropriate. So in this case, you're trying to get the shields back online. Now, that would be, let's see, internal systems. Generate shields is control plus engineering. So I'd
Okay.
say go for control plus command.
So I found out what the direct command does.
Yeah.
The CO provides clear, concise orders. Choose one other officer currently on the bridge. That officer attempts a single task determined by the CO. The CO assists this task using the command skill. So what I guess what that means is that basically the CO says, you do this, and then whatever secondary ability that the that their support, the person they gave the orders to uses, they use as well. They just use command instead of whatever other skill that person uses.
Yeah. And technically, Vintot isn't on the bridge, but I'll allow it anyway. Because it still falls under the category as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough.
Okay, so what am I rolling now?
You'll be rolling control plus command, and
Control plus
Vintot will be rolling control plus engineering.
All right, and am I rolling 2 or 1 die?
You're rolling 1 die.
Okay. All right.
You're rolling 2. You will, let's see. Generating shields will cost you power. Let me just double check how much. Okay, regenerate shields. Power requirement 1. Okay, difficulty increases if the shields are at 0, but they aren't. Okay, so yeah, no, you're fine. So, control plus engineering with a difficulty of 1. Assisted by the ship's structure plus engineering. And wait, this is really weirdly phrased, actually.
That's a good roll, right? We're not doomed again, are we?
Assist the task on the command skill. Okay, I guess this is a rare exception where you do get 2 assists. So someone go ahead and roll for the ship as well.
What is the ship rolling?
Ship is rolling structure plus engineering.
Okay.
Well, that's still a success. You don't get any momentum back, though. That gets you 2 shields plus 1 momentum that you choose to spend.
Okay, shields back up 2.
Because I don't think you really don't have the momentum to spare for more.
Yeah. So we do get 1 momentum to spend immediately, essentially, right?
Why?
I thought that's what you said.
Oh, for Vintot's talent thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and you have to spend it on this, so that means you can just go ahead and throw it into getting another 2 shields back.
Sweet.
Works.
So yeah, you're going to be surprisingly tanky, actually. Just as long as your power reserves hold out.
And that does take
Shields
us down
back up to 70%.
that takes us down to
Excellent
3
work.
power, correct?
That takes what, sorry?
That takes us down to 3 power, correct? We're
I
at
believe
4?
so.
Okay.
Yep. Alright. You don't have the momentum to keep the initiative even if you wanted to, so it's back to the clinks. Alright, so the Barrel with the damaged engines. What's it gonna do? Is there anything that it even can do?
Well, it did just repair its disruptors.
This is the one which you the one that you targeted the weapons on is back in shape. The one which you blew the engines out of is limping away. The one I'm looking at currently.
And then there's Bogey 3, which is
The one
apparently
that
destroyed the... excuse me. Apparently destroyed our target.
and potentially stole the torpedo.
I am assuming they have stolen the torpedo, so...
Okay, so they're gonna need to do that.
Yeah, so the third bird of prey is my top priority right now.
Okay. Okay. 2d20. Okay, does that even have a thing? No, it doesn't. Okay. So I just get a threat back. Your turn.
All right, would we like to let the doctor roll to heal some people, or do we want me to use my rally action and try and get some momentum back?
I'm a doctor, not a battle standard.
Actually, from a little bit of a meta perspective, what I would recommend as the commanding officer is to direct Helm to start bringing us into range of that third bird of prey.
We've already used direct. We can't use it again.
Is it once per...
I have used it. He has not.
Captain
Yeah.
can still use it. After that, you will have no more uses this scene.
Wow, that
Damn it, Jimmy still has a chance to live.
that changes things.
That was my thought anyway.
The lizard just wants the men to die. He's so keen on combat, he doesn't care about all these engineers who are probably stable and at no risk. I genuinely don't have any critical patience, the GM said so. You do what you like. I'll carry on patching up these men. That war has torn asunder.
Okay, so I will direct Helm. Get as close to that third bird of prey as you can.
You bloodthirsty mongrel!
All right. Daring and Con.
Okay, so do you want to... hold on, I'm going the wrong way.
On a serious technical note, while all these people are still lying in sickbay hurt, this means we still have the added difficulty for things with engineering, doesn't it?
That's what the breach means, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't fix breaches, I fix people. So what does having all these people in sickbay mean for us?
Okay,
You're a doctor,
so
not an engineer.
I'm a doctor, not an engineer.
let's see. You're currently at extreme range for that. Which is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 zones, I believe. Let me just double check the map. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you can move. You can use your impulse engines to get to long range of it, or you can do a warp jump, which can potentially get you right on top of it. But both of these options will cost you power. The impulse drive will cost you 1 power to get those 2 zones. If you want to use your warp engines to get all the way there, that'll cost you 4.
Which we don't have.
Yeah. Damn.
You can use a. You can also use a warp jump to get to medium range, which will only cost you 3.
Which is all the power, and we still need to be able to react with, weapons and things. Maybe the tractor
Torpedoes don't
beam.
cost power.
Is there anything I can do to help boost our power? Maybe like reroute power from the deflector dish or some other.
1 moment.
I mean, you can try it. I'm supposing.
I mean, unless that falls into engineering or some other.
It would still fall under the category of engineering. I'm just checking in terms of. Okay, so you can tap into those systems. There's a console override ability which you can use, which means you can attempt a task from any role other than your own. You can't use command abilities, obviously.
Makes sense.
So you can, in fact, go and try and build up more power, but it will increase the difficulty of the task by 1 because it's not what your station is for.
Do we want to do that?
Let's see. Power management is daring or control plus engineering. What's your engineering like?
My engineering is at 3.
Okay, not awful. Bear in mind, though. Let me see. Let's see. Power management is normally a difficulty of 2. It'll be going up to a difficulty of 4.
Oh boy.
Because +1 for not your station and +1 for the complication. You can still succeed at the cost. So you can automatically get 1 power back, even if you roll awfully. You're just going to get another complication.
Do we want to do that?
Nope.
I can tell you not to do it with the captain's medical thingy. No, don't do that, you crazy man. Get us out of here. I'm not going to.
This is just a thought I had. I just want to make sure it's what we all want to do.
Well, he's the captain. It doesn't matter what we think.
Well, we're the senior officers. We have to offer our input.
I'm in sickbay fixing people. Fix.
Come on, guys. Time's wasting. You're still in combat.
Yep, I thought we were going to do the move thing.
Let's do the move thing.
Okay.
Alrighty. So you're burning 1 power for impulse, I'm guessing?
Yep. Get us in torpedo range, at least.
Blow up in Vintot's face.
Okay, so it'll take us down to 2 power.
Ridding the dermal grafts.
I'm rolling for that.
Which means you do a rapid fly past the other 2 barrels.
Hey!
They're now behind you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
What am I looking for in terms of successes?
Let's see. You do have damaged engines. So, Let
For
me
crews and
see.
engineer in sick bay.
This will be a daring plus con roll. Is it daring plus con, or can I use control as well?
It's daring. Flight is pretty much
Um,
always daring.
Control plus con for a impulse burn.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mathematics.
It's daring plus con if you're for combat style maneuvers, so attack patterns, ramming, evasive
Okay.
action. Standard maneuvering is control.
All right.
So this is control plus con, assisted by engines plus con, and you have difficulty of 1 because of your engine damage.
Okay.
And then I roll for assistance, right?
Yes, you do.
Control and command.
And the ship rolls engines and con.
Here comes the momentum.
Yep, that's 3 momentum right there.
All
Do you want
So
to
we're up
bank
to
that,
4.
or there's a number of things you could do with that.
It's what, 2 momentum to hold initiative?
Yes.
Right. We need that power.
Yeah, but it's gonna, because Vintot's already gone, it's gonna be fairly difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll have to get power back next round.
Look.
So I say at least at this point, until we know what their next maneuver is,
Yeah.
just pass the turn.
Yep.
Alrighty. The enemy at the barrel number 3 is going to warp.
Oh, you.
But
Going to high warp at that.
We may require assistance.
cheeky twits.
Cheeky twits potentially without torpedo. Chainway's gonna be angry.
So, yeah, the bottom line is you don't have the power to be able to pursue them at this time.
Oh, fudge.
Why am I not surprised?
Your engines, your EPS conduits are messed up. Your engineering took a hit.
Coffee
It's
machine.
you could pursue them soon, but for right now, right here and now, yeah, you're gonna have issues.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
We have some shuttles aboard, including a runabout, no?
You do.
And we damaged these birds of prey.
Not
Yes.
number 3.
Now, I'm just a country doctor, but we have an angry lizard man on the bridge and a battle axe wielding space Viking. Perhaps they could, in the runabout and, recover our missing secret device, which Janeway entrusted us with.
It would take time to launch your shuttles, and none of them have enough power to be able to pursue a bird of prey.
And this is why I'm a doctor, not a star.
Yeah, I think what we're going to want to do is get some people on board one of the birds of prey that remain, figure out what the plan was from their
Ooh.
side, and see if we know where we need to go to pursue.
There's that sneaky ex-Borg thinking. No, wait, wrong game.
It is back to your turn.
Can we get boarding parties aboard those ships?
Well, the one you believe, yes.
Yep.
That's awkward. Yes, it is. Well remembered. You do, in fact, have a probe.
I totally forgot about the probe that I launched.
Thought they would have nicked that too, thieving knickers.
You can. That would be.
Would that be-
in Pharrell's domain, and it
Yes.
isn't actually mine. So Pharrell and Chunkus, it's just you who are up.
So what do I? So do I need a roll to figure out if they've transported it?
Yes, that will be. That will be a sensor sweep.
All right,
Which is
science
Reason
and
plus science.
reason and science.
Assisted by Senses plus Science. And this is difficulty 0.
Okay, and do I have this all set up right? I have
Just a sec.
I will double check for you. Let's see. Reason plus Science. Do. Yep, that's all good.
Okay, rolling.
Okay. And Senses plus Science on the ship.
I got that. Ha!
Alright, so that is 4 successes, which is 4 momentum you get to spend on stuff. So, what exactly were you trying to scan for?
I was trying to scan if the probe picked up that the bird of prey transported our prototype torpedo.
You did detect some transporter activity. Now, the way it works with this kind of trying to find out information sort of thing is typically, if you succeed, I'll give you a short soundbite like that. Every momentum you spend, you get to ask another question.
And we need to spend at least one overflow momentum.
Yep.
I think
Right.
a good question to ask is, did the probe pick up the telemetry of the ship?
So,
The telemetry?
Captain, I've been going over our sensor readings of the probe. They did pick up a transporter activity from the third bird of prey.
Do we have the direction? Do we have their course?
Yes, you do. That's pretty easy. It is, in fact, heading towards Romulan space.
We do? They appear to be heading into Romulan space, Captain. Or do I need a roll for that?
Nope.
Okay.
That just costs you a momentum task, that.
Alright. And just to make sure, I've been kind of fuzzy about this momentum thing. Right now, I have 3 momentum, and I think that's left over from our last session. How many should I have?
You should be at 6 right now.
Okay.
Oh, we got all our momentum back.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good roll.
That
Oh,
was
I
a
missed
very
a
good
bit.
roll.
Well done. Tell
Science-
me how to do that.
Science saves the day.
Oh,
Ish.
yes, I see. Oh, well done. Yeah. Very good.
All right, so who's
Rolling.
still left to go?
Me.
It's just the Doctor. Do you want to keep momentum for that, or hand it back to the client?
It seems very, very curious that the Klingons would be heading into Romulan space. I wonder if it's the House of Duras.
Oh, they're all dead.
I'm
I
not convinced
continue
these
to
are.
cure the injured people with my healing hands.
I'm not convinced that these are members of the Empire.
Well, Duras isn't exactly members of the Empire. Ish.
Do I roll to carry on being a doctor, or am I waiting for the
Uh,
time? Sorry.
You'll need to spend
Doc, do you want to go right now, or do you want to let them have one turn and then you go?
You'll only need to spend momentum if you want to keep it.
Don't we have time now to sort of recover? I don't need to be spending things to get things done in a hurry.
Oh no, sir. We're still in combat.
Oh, are we?
Yeah,
Oh,
we still got two birds of prey right behind us.
Yeah.
oh
let's-
okay. I really
burn
missed
the
it
momentum,
there,
I
didn't
think.
I? Let's hold on to what we have so we can kill them before we start worrying about treating folks. I humbly submit that we carry on fighting. Yes.
Yeah. Let's burn the 2 momentum and give the doctor a roll.
Oh, really?
Alright.
Oh, you want me to heal people? Oh, okay.
Well, it is your job.
Sorry, I thought we were fighting and we wanted to save it for fighting people. But no, yes, absolutely.
We don't have any fighting people. You're the last one up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So we'll spend two momentum and let the doctor do his job.
Good. I wish to use emergency medicine because I'm a doctor and it's an emergency.
Yep, daring plus
Please.
medicine.
Daring plus medicine. Again, this did not go well last time. Task roll 3, complication range. I'm not affected by all the damage, am I? No, 1.
Nope.
Task roll ready. Rolling. Oh God.
Ah!
Success.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah.
Everybody's healed. It's
That
been
is
a miracle.
completely
Miracle. They'll write papers of this day.
So with him using,
Back.
Oh, it's even better.
That's 5 successes, so you get 3 momentum,
RNGesus
which
exists.
means you are immediately back up to full and have 1 extra.
What can you do with an extra momentum on
Yes.
a recovery task?
kill more people than expected.
Create a super cure for space.
I mean, there's not a huge amount.
Rhinovirus.
Maybe-
Instantaneous recovery.
Can it be channeled into someone feels so good they go and fix the engines like that? Does that work?
Well, you're just by virtue of this task, you've given 1 reroll to an engineering task next round.
Are you kidding? Really?
Yeah, that's what this does.
So I guess you are a bit of an engineer, Doctor.
You're welcome, Commander Vintot. Now, when that thing explodes in your face, you come and see me. Yeah.
All right.
Gosh, this
Yeah,
is
there's
fun.
not a great deal that you can use that on right now.
No, I figured, but yeah. I'm very glad to get a decent roll after last time. Whoever's idea it was for us to play this game, well done. Yeah, very good.
I mean, you can spend 2 momentum if you wish to try and create an advantage,
Ooh,
which will be.
what do we think? Do we need an advantage against these remaining 2 birds of prey? Or are we winning?
Well, we're winning it regardless, but
Yeah,
That's not a word.
I wouldn't be too worried in your position, but it's up to you.
Captain and first officer, what do you think?
Well, so we just healed up. Do we want to spend that 2 to create advantage for the engineering the next time they go to push our power up?
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
it applies to, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll get ready to roll again.
There's no rolling. It's just you spend 2
right,
momentum
okay.
and then you get advantage. That'll take you down to 5, I believe.
1, 2, because I gained that one back. So yes,
Yeah.
I agree. 5. Yeah, I think. Yeah. No, 4. Because we can only have 6, right?
No, because we had the 1 extra.
Plus 1, 5. Okay. Yep. I was hoping to roll again there, but probably shouldn't push my luck. Lovely. Right. Bridge, sick bay. Answer me. I'm busy. Hang on. This thing working. Beep, beep. Bridge, sick bay.
Sick bay, this is a bridge.
Yes, I've released all the patients. They're all feeling much better. Anybody still complaining of injuries is just malingering. Any instructions for me right now?
Stand by, Doctor. We're not out of this soup yet.
Wonderful. He
No, I'm
mentions,
hungry.
now I'm hungry. Very well, sick bay out. You, nurse, pass me that hyper spray.
All right. So the Klingons. Well, that one that you damaged peels away and seems to be trying to get its cloaking device online. You definitely sense some distortions, but I guess you must have damaged it along with the weapon systems,
Kill it with
because it's
fire.
definitely not functioning.
Or offer to fix the cloak when they cloak, then fire.
Well, in a generations move.
You know what we didn't try was that move, actually. They're older Barrels, right?
Well, the Burrell that the Duras sisters used was, I think, a class G12, if I remember right.
It was a Baral, a scout. I
Yeah,
the difference-
a Burrell, but I think it was a class G12 bird of prey, if I remember what Worf said.
I mean, the distinctions between the different types of birds of prey are messy as hell.
From what I've read, their birds of prey are literally like fingerprints. No two are alike.
Is that apply here though? Are they the same kinds of birds of prey? Can we do that?
As far as Star Trek Adventures is concerned, there are two types. There's the Burrell Scouts and there's the Katenga Cruisers.
So,
You mean the
And
Kavort?
Kavort,
those-
that's the one.
Right, so neither can be forced to have their cloaking devices triggered because of defective plasma cores. Ionic
I'm sure you
pulse,
could break
that
that.
was it.
It would be possible. It would just require some preparation and inventiveness.
Yeah, I'm a doctor, not a tactician, but yeah.
They can't even activate their cloaking device.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
It would seem these brigands focused mainly on weapons rather than anything else. Weapons and engines, probably.
All right. You detect some transporter activity from between the two birds of prey, and shortly afterwards, the one whose engines you blew out.
Self-destructs.
Yeah, it looks like they overloaded the torpedo magazine because the warp core itself is going nowhere.
Captain, reading transporter activity, it would seem that they're evacuating the damaged bird of prey. And it just exploded. They overloaded the torpedoes.
Ah, good. That means they're all in one place.
Alrighty.
Warrior, come out and play.
And we are back to the top of the order.
I think first thing, are you back, B?
All right.
All right, I think we want you to generate some power for us.
Yeah, we're gonna need power to go after that other bird of prey.
Because we got one to contend with now.
And don't be afraid of botching the roll because you get a free reroll.
Because if you botch the first roll, we could blame it on EPS failure or some other.
I mean, that is literally the complication which you've got at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
Until you
True.
until you yeah. But yeah, until you do some damage control, you're going to be at difficulty 3 for power management. So the question is, do you want to repair the EPS, or do you want to keep trying to get more power into the systems?
Do the
As,
EPS.
as a doctor, I'm a bit worried about this EPS in his face, yes.
Well, we have a couple of bonuses to getting power back at the moment, don't we?
You don't.
Ooh.
No.
Because like the doctor's bonus will apply to getting the systems repaired, but power
Oh, well,
restoration isn't assisted by the ship, which means it does not get the reroll.
Okay.
Ah.
So
Bugger.
yeah, let's get those EPS running. It's just a little radiation. You can walk it off.
Rub some dirt on it, walk it off.
Electroplasma right in the face.
All right, so
Walk it off. Lingering.
so I think your best bet here would be presence plus engineering. And if you pull this off, then you'll also repair the breach on the engines.
Time to show you how much of a miracle worker you are.
2 dice, unless you spend momentum.
What's he looking for in terms of successes?
I'm just trying to find that now.
Five.
5.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
You might want to spend 3, which will get you 2 extra die.
Yeah, I'd say go for that.
Okay, so the repairs. You're looking at.
So we're all down to 2 momentum now, right?
Correct.
Damage suffered. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be a difficulty of 1.
And what's the ship
Yes.
rolling for assistance? Does the ship assist on this one?
Ship does assist. Ship assistance is structure plus engineering. I thought it was. Apparently it's not. Apparently the ship does not assist. Apparently
Okay.
this is just raw manpower which you've got to pull off. So I believe the difficulty is 1. I believe that it's equal to the number of breaches which you've got.
Okay.
That looks like a good roll.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
That means we're going to get 2 momentum back.
Which you can then immediately spend to get rid of the EPS failure.
Yep.
Yes, you do.
Oh, cool. So we could bank one of the ones that we got and spend yours and one of the two that you generated to fix the EPS. Sweet. Thank you, Benzite Talents.
And that takes us to what? 3 now total?
Yes.
Okay.
3 total momentum, no breaches, and how much power does that generate? Or no, we weren't doing power. Never mind.
You weren't doing power.
Does
Alright, you
does EPS and breach?
Okay, there it goes. I think.
All right.
To get rid of it all, you click on the name.
Oh, gotcha.
So I did technically get that wrong, but I think it still makes sense under the circumstances. I'll just have to remember that that's not actually how it works in future.
Oh,
Yeah. I think it still works just on the basis of cleaning out all the problems that you're suffering at the moment. But normally that would be a slightly less of a. Normally it would be basically the way that damage control works is designed to deal with damaged systems. This was an impacted system, which is a little less severe. And normally dealing with it would be a minor action, but doing this allowed you to create the advantage, which cancelled out the complications. So, in a roundabout way, it still made sense.
okay.
All right. So that was Vintot. Are you keeping the initiative?
I mean, we don't have much power to do anything. Do we have anything that can get us to generate power?
Well, I'm not terrible at engineering, so I could override. I could use my action right now to override, I would suppose, because my engineering's at 4. And what's the attribute for that?
I'm sorry, what were you trying to do? Power restoration?
Yeah, I'm saying if I do because I'm not too terrible at engineering. But-
Restoring power, because it's not your station, would be a difficulty of 3, and then daring or control plus engineering.
But it'll cost.
Which I'm actually pretty good at all that type of stuff. And would that get bonus from computers or no? Or warp field dynamics?
You know, I'll allow that.
Alright. So it increases the difficulty, not the complication, right?
That's correct.
And I'm going to spend... Do we spend the momentum to gain the extra power before the roll or after the roll?
After.
Okay, so I'm not going to spend any momentum for more dice. I'm going to save the momentum for more power.
Works for me.
And this is not ship assisted, right?
That is correct.
Alrighty, so just a real basic roll. Let's see what happens.
Yes! Oh,
Success with complication.
yes, that's it.
That's still a failure.
And that's a red 0. Oh, that is a red 0.
So it's difficulty 3. You only got one success.
Oh,
Oh, bugger.
So you can still succeed at a cost, but that would mean you'd be getting 2 complications instead of 1.
Don't think we need any more complications right now.
We're just recovering here.
Nothing explodes on the ship, does it?
What is our complication range at now? 2?
That's got to be 2.
Your complication... well, no. Complication range only happens if you try to do something where a complication is involved or the
Okay.
rules specifically say so.
Ah, good. Good.
So you're fine.
Yay!
I'm actually just going to eat that complication for more threat.
We're going to what?
I can choose, instead of giving you a complication, to take 2 threat.
Which means she can do more stuff. Because threat is the NPC version of momentum.
Yes, I remember you explaining this one, Lazu, which means you're
Alright,
a little
well,
bit like do
that was a
more
good
damage,
attempt.
isn't it?
Alright.
She's a sneaky bugger, that's why.
By the way, regarding breaches, you don't actually... breaches stick around. They only get repaired when you actually go back to space dock and get an open.
oh,
Your repairs remove them,
So we only patched it up.
pretty much.
Is it now unpatched? Sorry, I misheard.
This seems how we didn't take any disruptor fire or anything. I would assume it's still patched.
Yeah, no, it's you're no longer suffering from the penalties of having an engine breach, but it's still there, which means that future breaches are going to have an easier time giving you a bad time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because instead of needing three breaches to get you 2 damaged, they now only need 2.
okay.
So they better not get a lucky shot at her in a cell.
That'd be bad. Alright. That'd be my turn. And the second barrel is just going to go ahead and go into warp.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Cowards!
They're done. They don't need to... Their objective is clearly complete. And they're not interested in answering questions because they blew up their own ship rather than let you go through it.
Well, this is going to be one for Starfleet.
It's not over yet.
Or Klingons at all? Have we analysed those life signs yet?
Well, from my readings, they're mixed life signs, Klingons, and I'm assuming probably Nausicaans, Orions. But I would have to go over my readings more thoroughly.
Yeah, do your job, science officer.
First things
my
first.
Like you did your job, Doctor!
People.
My apologies.
We have the course data so far for the ship that we believe took the torpedo. I want us engine ready as soon as possible and take off after it.
You get a proximity alert.
Are we telling Janeway in the meantime?
There are 5 vessels approaching you
Oh, come on.
Please tell me they're friendly.
from the planet Takara.
Whoa.
These are
Uh-oh.
Takaran military vessels.
Oh,
Ring-
they're going to be so upset.
Captain, we got incoming ships. 5 Takaran vessels.
Open hailing frequencies.
Hailing frequencies open.
Hello. Oh, the other one. Ah, sorry, my bad.
Dr. Gibran.
Gibran, yes. He's just looking a little shell-shocked by the whole thing.
I still think he's complicit.
What do you mean? He's been perfectly helpful this whole time.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've not been on the bridge to notice his behaviour. However,
Pharrell eyes Jibrim discreetly.
The channel opens, and you immediately have a look at a very angry-looking Dakaran.
Good, y'all are here. Come on, gentlemen, follow up on us. We're going to be after them.
What happened here, Captain?
In the middle of the test, we were assaulted by these 3 birds of prey. In our attempts to destroy the weapon before they could reach it, failed for some reason. We sent the proper codes, and the weapon did not respond to detonation protocols. We have the vessel's telemetry data, and we are going to be after them immediately.
Nas turns to stare at the visiting doctor again.
We were assured that the Federation would take this test very seriously. And not only have you lost the prototype, but you have allowed allies of the Federation to steal it. What is the meaning of this?
We cannot account for everything that happens in the middle of a test. And
we are in the middle of Federation space. We expect better results. I will be having strong words with the Admiralty of this.
You do that. However, we have a job still to do. The day is not lost, sir.
Perhaps you would like to explain how 3 Klingon birds of prey entered your system unchallenged, and why it took so long for your response to arrive.
question. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Takaran military is small and under-equipped compared to the Federation, which is why we were comfortable with allowing you to take care of security for this matter.
And according to our information, we were adequate security. No one mentioned that the Empire, or whoever had those birds of prey, would be lurking in your territory.
May I also inquire as to how the Klingons knew that there would be a test being performed, as no one on this ship has had communication with them, and they clearly knew there was a missile test happening.
That I am not aware of, but the test was extremely classified and secure on our end. The leak must be with the Federation.
It
Now,
was not
please-
leaked from this ship.
You will
The
provide
only-
us. You will
the only-
provide us with the course data from the birds of prey, and we will take care of this matter ourselves.
You are more than welcome to come along with us for the ride. More ships is always a good idea. However, I have been directed by Admiral Janeway herself to see this to the end, and we will do so.
Alrighty, Captain. I'm going to ask for a check from you. This will be presence plus command. And I believe persuasion will be useful.
Oh, yes.
Time to break out those diplomacies.
And I'm going to spend a momentum for an extra die.
Difficulty of 2, by the way.
Okay. Hopefully I don't botch this like the last roll.
I might be
told you it
able
was
to
difficulty
help.
3 and you only rolled 2 dice, so I'm not sure what you were expecting there.
I might be able to help.
You might, but you're not on the bridge.
Oh, fudge, yeah, good point. I'm yelling at you through
Do we
ship
have the
aren't I?
momentum to spend on that? What are we at in terms of momentum right now?
We were at 3. Because I was going to save the momentum, hopefully we were going to pass, and I was going to be able to burn the momentum for more power.
Right.
Yeah, so you are on
2 currently, yeah.
2.
Right.
You succeeded by 1 over, so you're back up to 3 momentum.
Yay!
The Takaran captain looks somewhat mollified by this. I suppose having Federation assistance would be useful for this. Very well, Captain Jazonan. I will, if you will transmit the course data to us, then we can both pursue these thieves together.
Correct. And it also is helpful as they are heading towards Romulan space, and we already have permission to enter Romulan space.
Good. Well, according to our readings, your warp core needs to regenerate. How long before you can successfully pursue them?
Engineering bridge, how long until warp core is back online?
I will ask for an insight, reason plus engineering from you. Difficulty of 1.
Is it going to be 1 week, roughly?
There should only be a couple minutes.
By the way, Talia, you rolled engineering instead of command.
Oh,
Oopsie. Do
I
we
forgot
just
to
want?
change it.
It doesn't make any difference. But
We'll just say it's command.
I was going to say,
close
My
enough.
command is a lot better, so let's just put it that way.
So yes, Vintot.
V?
Reason and engineering.
Yeah, it's a reasonable engineer should be able to tell us when the warp core's back online. Ba-dum-bum.
Ha ha!
Thank you, Deccan. Thank you.
Sorry, what was that?
Pretend if you want to. Probably wouldn't bother.
What for this?
Yeah, it's only difficulty 1, so
Aren't you reading a console?
All right. So yeah, in order to get the power together to be able to pursue and catch up with them, it'll probably be about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Pee break.
Okay, so I'm assuming Varzak relays that to me. Vintot relays that to me.
You will inform the Takaran captain.
Yes, only about 10 minutes, so not too much of a
Delay.
difference at this point.
Oh, you're lying to him. How interesting.
Very well. Give us the course data, and we will set off ahead of you. You can catch up later. But the sooner we get in pursuit, the better.
on that I agree.
Pharrell looks at the captain.
Yes, Lieutenant Commander.
No, I mean in confirmation to send over the data.
Oh, yes, send them both.
Transmitting course telemetry and everything else that we got from the probe.
Takaran captain nods and closes the channel. A moment later, the Takaran fleet leaves.
Fleet.
Well, that was
Yeah,
pleasant.
They probably will need your help, though. They do outnumber the Klingons, but Takaran
X-ray
technology
fusion
isn't
missile.
great.
Some will probably be able to disable a couple of them.
I was gonna say, I imagine their ships are kind of basically light frigates.
Flimsy.
Pretty much.
Quantity over quality. Not sure about those odds.
It's the Chinese way.
So in the meantime, are you going to contact Starfleet Command?
No, we just fudged up.
Well, here's the
No,
here's
we got
the deal.
ambushed. There's a difference.
Yes, we were ambushed. The only people on this vessel that knew about the test, and the people knew that we were doing. The ship knew we were doing weapons testing.
Like the only people that,
Only the senior officers knew that it was a classified, like it was the extent of what the testing was. So
Yeah,
there
I see
is a
what you're doing.
breach not from this vessel.
Yeah.
well, there's also Dr. Jabram or whatever his name is.
yeah.
Right.
Who's still
Yeah.
with us?
Nars will
I
eat
resent
him
that
because-
implication.
Nobody asked you.
Well, give.
Get
Well,
the
give-
lizard man to do it.
Given how obtuse he was when we first met him, I wouldn't put it past.
I am a citizen of the Takaran government.
You're a guest on a Federation's. I'm not there. I'm in sickbay. Damn it! All these
Yeah, shut up.
I'm sorry, Doctor, but we must explore all possibilities of a breach.
Doctor, was there anyone on your staff who may have been not exactly, I'm not going to say on the up and up, but maybe acting odd?
I mean, there have been some oddities throughout this project, but if you're asking me if there was a leak from within my team, then no. I find that highly unlikely.
But is it possible?
It's possible, anything's possible, but my prototype has now been stolen, and I have very little confidence in the capabilities of my military to be able to reclaim it.
You said there was some oddities. What kind of oddities?
There was... Honestly, if there was a leak on the side of my government, then I would suspect the military and not my team.
Explain.
they've been very overbearing with this whole thing. I mean, you saw the state of the warhead. If it'd been left entirely to me, then we would have been working on it for some time before we brought it to the Federation like this.
I was under the impression it was under your control until now.
Yes, well, the military oversight can be, as I said, quite overbearing. There's my people have been concerned for years, decades, about our relative lack of power, given our proximity to numerous hostile forces. So in the end, when the Admiralty comes forward and tells you to push things forward and cut corners and try to do anything necessary to get a weapon online, then you do it. If it were up to me, then we would not be in this situation, believe me.
Do you have any speculation as to why the weapon did not detonate when commanded?
In theory, if this was the result of a leak from those who are familiar with the project, then they might have had a failsafe override code to deactivate the warhead.
I didn't pick up any failsafe activation from the probe, but I would have to go over our readings again.
I don't know.
Why would your military push for a rapid deployment of this warhead and then steal it from itself?
I'm not blaming the entire military for it. I'm simply saying that perhaps their security measures were lax, and third parties or spies or double agents or something of that nature got involved. The point is that these Klingons or pirates or whatever they may be are now in possession of the weapon, and who knows what could be done with it.
Rest assured, Doctor, we will not stop until it's recovered.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Now, we need to know for sure if there's anything you can recall, any personnel that had been caught being where they're not supposed to be, or anything you can recall at all, that would be greatly helpful. In the meantime, while we get underway, I need to make a report to the Admiral.
Be sure to emphasize that we had no warning of this impending attack.
Very seldomly do people have warning of attacks on classified actions, Lieutenant Commander.
That isn't going to stop Starfleet from being upset with us.
We're in the middle of Federation territory. These raiders should not have been able to get this deep undetected.
Well, we are near the Romulan Federation neutral zone, so they may have used that as cover.
Yeah.
Still.
And we don't have a tachyon detection grid up, to my knowledge, right?
That is correct. There are certain secure areas along, well, at this point, kind of the former neutral zone, because it's a little academic these days. But But there are anti-cloaking fields around secure starbases and important facilities like that, but
So yeah,
there's a lot of space to cover.
Starfleet did install tachyon detection grids during the next generation time.
Well, the tachyon detection grids that they used during Next Generation were ship-based networks used for temporary blockades.
That's not actually quite true.
Yeah, because I remember the episode where Deanna Troi was undercover as a Romulan, and it was said that the Federation has a detection field for any Romulans crossing the border.
That's correct. The reading that I had for that was that they only use that in secure areas, because otherwise there's just way too much space to cover.
True.
So just around stations, colonies, that sort of thing. If you're just wandering here, there, and everywhere. Because specifically in that episode, they were trying to get to a Federation colony.
Valid point.
So it is not impossible for a ship cloaked to get into Federation space undetected.
It is entirely possible.
Indeed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nice growl.
So I'm not going to make a face-to-face report at this time, but I will use the digital,
The computer send a subspace transmission.
super secure transmission, claiming, we suspect breaches from inside the Dakaran system at some point, or somehow, and the attack we caught us with our pants down.
I knew I should have worn my belt.
Well, that goes off. In the meantime, Pharrell, Naz, do you want to try and go over the sensor data and ascertain some more stuff about your attackers?
I'm already on it.
Nas will assist from a tactical evaluation anyway.
Alrighty. I mean, in terms of actually identifying the ships and who they might belong to and that sort of thing, that's actually more of a security role. So I'd probably say it'd be better off with Naz taking the lead and Pharrell assisting.
Okie dokie.
So specifically, the check we're looking at will be reason plus security for Naz.
Mm,
I will allow reason plus... sure, let's go reason plus science for Pharrell as an assist. So you're rolling 1 dice, Eric.
So I change the task roll to 1, right?
yep.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I need to depart. I have other appointments today, so...
Oh, alright.
It is also.
It is
We
heading
have
to
in
that
fact been
time.
running for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a quick overview of what you know there, and we will put there. Sound good?
Okie dokie.
Oh, but yes, real life.
All right. You do gain a momentum from that, by the way. That's 4 successes. The difficulty was 3.
Woohoo!
So the bottom line is, yes, these ships used to belong to the House of Duras. Good call, Pharrell. But the House of Duras has fallen on hard times of late.
By being dead.
Lursa and Betor, of course, died nearly 20 years ago.
Oh wow, yeah.
And Taral.
As far as I know,
basically
it's still alive.
Yeah, but it's like
Taral is possibly
third rate
still
on a
alive,
garbage scout somewhere, isn't
but he's basically dropped off the grid. He hasn't been seen for about 10 years at this point.
Yeah, because the last time we saw him, he had surprised Worf, Dax, and Core when they found the sword of Kalis.
That's correct. He's popped up once or twice since then, but nothing confirmed. But this wouldn't be the first time that ostensibly Duras ships have been spotted with mixed crews operating in strange locations. And there are suggestions that the remaining elements of the House of Duras might have allied themselves with either the Orion Syndicate or some other criminal organization. So, these aren't Klingons, is the most likely answer there.
And yet our readings picked up Klingon life signs.
Yep.
But
Which
not-
again,
not the
Mixed
friendly
crews.
kind, not the nice ones, not the kiss Klingons. These are evil Klingons.
These
so
are
we
backstabbing
have,
Klingons.
we have the potential for criminal operatives being involved
Oh, God.
with the theft of a torpedo going into, or at least towards, Romulan space, which, oh yes, is a mess at the moment.
And one
A
little
nice, simple situation to clean up.
one question: does the torpedo have like a Federation transponder code in it?
No, it doesn't, because it was
Okay.
moved up
Put
to
a
cars.
transponder on it before you put it on the freighter. No, you didn't.
Okay,
I'm a doctor.
because I was
Not a
wondering if
cookie
this could be like a backlash against the Federation if like the torpedo detonated in Romulan space or some other.
It's a prototype. They probably don't even have like manufacturer's markings on it as much as they can.
Fair point.
It's got warning: do not detonate written on it.
Alrighty, folks. Well, with that fun little reveal, we will call a hold.
That was very fun.
I thought I know what to do with this bit. Dun 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 dun.
Man, our pilot episode is a 3-parter. This is awesome.
I mean, to be honest, it might end up being a 4-parter.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
How this goes, because technically, I mean, I think I mentioned that this is running off a pre-made adventure. We only just entered Act 2.
Well,
Yeah.
Discovery got a 3-hour pilot, so you can have on 2.
that's
What
fair.
is that? 5 or 6 hours at the moment.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Oh yeah, that EPS conduit did not explode in your face.
Did
Success.
not want to wake up looking at that hairy pig face.
And nobody's dead yet.
All right, I am heading out as well. Everyone, have a great day.
See you.
alrighty.
Later.
I'm going to go and watch the children. Ciao, ciao, for now.
Alrighty, so we shall reconvene next week, and for all our watchers, I'm not actually sure how many there are because I'm not looking at the stream, I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you again soon among the Embers.
Yes.
I like it.
I've got a knack for these.
She really does.
Today is a good day to roll zeros.
No, that's our doctor.
It started with him.
Oh my god, 4 dice.
And fucking nothing. Oh man, that was brutal.
It was.
And then you lasted with your evil ways.
Yeah, well, I threw so much threat at you. Yeah. And aside from that one disruptor blast which got through to your engines, I did nothing.
Oh, fair point.
Yeah, the rest of our troubles were more or less self-inflicted, unfortunately.
Though I have discovered disruptors are terrifying,
Disruptors are terrifying.
because it's easy to miss quite how scary they are. But here's the thing: with the damage dice, if you're using a phaser, then you've got a 50-50 chance of getting 1 damage. You've got a 1 in 6 chance of getting 2 damage, and then a 1/3 chance of doing nothing. When you're using disruptors, you have a 1 in 6 chance of doing 1 damage, a 50% chance of doing 2 damage,
Oh boy.
and then 1/3 chance of doing nothing.
Jesus.
Which is
Click on-
why the that disruptor blast. She just came up, supercharged her cannons, and then rolled, which meant she was rolling 9 dice. And even after subtracting all of your resists, that was still enough to get a breach on you.
Good God.
Jeez, these brigands came prepared.
Well, disruptors will be disruptors.
Hmm.
I mean, the flip side of that is doing a full charge disruptor blast like that costs 3 power. The
Hmm.
barrels only have 7.
Well,
That's fair.
They're kind of dinky. Just wait until you start fighting real enemies, though.
you mean this wasn't real enough?
Well, these are
Are you-
babies.
I know.
I mean, you're a 2380s era heavily refit tactical nebula going up against 20-year-old birds of prey.
I'm just saying, 'cause they really let it out on us.
I'm hoping our next encounters with major enemies are lesser in number, because I feel like part of our problem there was just the number of enemies we were facing off of. Because we could take 2 birds of prey, but that basically took all of our attention. We had no opportunity to even try and stop number 3 from raiding the test bed.
And just when we were in arm's reach, it pulls away.
Well, we only got to long range, and the only weapon we have
Oh, right.
that's useful at long range are the torpedoes, which, as noted, don't do great against shields. And we hadn't even touched that damn thing.
I mean, the flip side of it is that's quite realistic, because generally
Yeah.
in Star Trek, if you're outnumbered, you've got problems.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Borg.
Well, that's because the Borg cheat. Okay.
They in Star Trek Adventures, they literally do.
Lovely.
The way that NPC ships work is they get 1 turn per scale.
Right.
So Burrell's are scale 3, so they get 3 turns. You are scale 5, and you've got 6 senior staff, so you get 6 turns, so you're doing pretty well. The Borg get 1 turn per every turn their enemies have.
What?
Oh.
Which means, technically, at the Battle of Wolf 359, that cube had about 200 turns.
Oh my
SOB!
God.
Now, I don't think Star Trek Adventures would actually work if you scaled it up to that level, but still.
I hope not.
I'd
I mean, you
probably
can
start
find
trying to figure out some minion rules for a combat that big. Or a fleet
Yeah,
action
I mean,
that big.
the way I've seen it done on the one major fleet battle, which I saw on Shield of Tomorrow, basically they ignored everything except the stuff which was immediately involved with the hero ship.
Fair enough.
But yeah, the Borg special rules. They can transport through shields
Of course they can.
with long range instead of close. Regenerative systems. Basically, when they succeed at a task to repair damage, they repair a breach plus additional breaches per momentum spent. Ships can't normally repair breaches; they just ignore the results for them.
Yeah.
Protocols,
Yeah.
and then yes, the Borg cube. Like Borg spheres aren't awful. Borg cubes.
Run away.
Bloody menace.
Let's see. So, adaptive subspace field. Whenever a Borg cube suffers one or more breaches, roll a dice for each breach the cube is currently suffering from. If any effects are rolled, so that's 1 in 3 chance, the cube is adapted to that weapon type and can no longer suffer any damage from that type of.
Are you kidding?
You have to create an advantage to retune your weapons to be able to damage them again.
Oh. Oh.
Adapting bastards.
They've got a similar thing for their basic drones. Though the drones are
Why?
because the drones are minor NPCs, which is basically minions as far as STA is concerned. They've got barely any stats. Their stats are pretty bad. They've got limited weaponry. Like, most of them don't even have ranged weapons. They just have basic ability to smack you.
I'll smack you with my tubules.
Yeah, and then they've got the assimilation ability, which requires which costs a load of threat to use.
Like, the most I've seen the Borg use in terms of actually energy weapons would be like just like pulse weapons on their wrists or whatever.
Yeah, so here we go. Borg Collective. So we've got tactical drones. Nope, no ranged weapons. Technical drones.
No ranged weapons on tactical drones?
No,
Huh.
no Borg drones have ranged weapons.
Oh.
Huh.
They just have unarmed strike, assimilation tubules, and there's a specific type which has a plasma cutter.
Do they have enhanced strength? Because that was seen many times throughout the series.
You're back, bathroom.
No, their damage isn't great. Like, the highest it gets is 3 dice with an unarmed strike. And let me check how much you guys have. Like, you in particular, Pharrell? Let's see. Okay, so it's a little higher. You're unarmed strike 1.
Wow.
I think. Let's see. You'd add security to that, so you'd actually be at 3. So you've got just as much. You're potentially just as strong as a tactical drone.
Huh.
Borg drones are not actually that scary. The thing
What?
is, they're pretty tough to kill. Got a lot of health. They've got a lot of resistance,
Naturally.
and they have adaptive shielding.
Wouldn't
Which
be the
means-
Borg if they didn't.
Yep. Every time a Borg drone is injured, which basically means killed, by an energy-based ranged weapon, roll an effect for each drone injured by that weapon. If it's rolled, they become immune. You're done. There's not even a retune ability here.
Like
although-
like you can't remodulate your phaser or whatever.
Nope, you'd have to go away and work out something else.
Oh jeez.
Like, I don't foresee the Borg coming up in this campaign, but I think a campaign where they did, it'll probably allow for stuff like you ever play Elite Force?
No.
There was a gun in that called the iMod, the Infinity Modulator, which I'd probably end up allowing something along those lines after a while of dealing with these nightmares. But yeah, in order to even use the assimilation tubules, that costs a threat. But if you die from an injury involving assimilation tubules, then you become a drone. If the injury is stabilized, so you're injured but you're not dead, then you add a threat. You give me a threat at the start of each scene in order to not succumb to the nanoprobes until they're removed, which is a difficulty 4 medicine check.
Makes sense.
So, no. But I mean, the flip side of it is, unless you attack them first, it costs me a lot of threat to get the Borg to attack you. Which, again, fits. you get onto a bulk vessel, unless you're actively messing with them, they'll just ignore you.
Yeah, they don't do anything unless they perceive you as a threat or worthy of assimilation.
Mm-hmm. So I really like the way they've actually represented the bulk in this game. It feels very, very close to how they look in the series. You can kill them. You can kill a bunch of drones. You can even mess up the bigger ships if you try hard enough. It's just that it's gonna take a while to actually do any real damage, and by the time you're getting close to it, it's probably too late.
The Borg. Always fun.
Oh yeah. Like I
Is
said,
there any number keeping I should do for the ship, just so we're ready to go next week? Sort of to go through, hey, we've made some repairs and done a recharge.
Well, Crate said he wouldn't be able to come on anymore after today. I remember him saying that.
He did say it would be a little more spotty because retail jobs and
Yeah.
stuff.
well, we'll see with that. Deccan, I will let you know about that. I need to check the rules for like regenerating power and such outside of combat.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that shields basically come back up to full after a scene ends, but power I'm not sure about.
It'd be nice if it auto regenerated out of combat as well. Is it used